Good morning to all of you.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir.
sir.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Good morning. NPE National Policy of Education 1968 and 86 both talks about that the vocational education that we are organizing or that will be organized will must be based upon the demand and supply basis. So demand and supply will be the one of the criteria for organizing vocational education. Apart from that, specifically when we talk about the 1986 policy, it also talks about that the to eliminate the stereotype, sex stereotype, vocational and professional courses, and to promote the women in the participation of non-traditional vocational courses. That was talked about the 86. We have also seen that this policy means that NPE 86 also talks that including persons with disability in the vocational education. And in the somewhere we were talking also about the different models of disability. I hope that you must have explored by yourself and you have understood something that what are the different models of disability. Okay, so today in this discussion we will continue from the previous one, that the NPE 86 talks about that there is a serious need of systemic, well planned and rigorous implementation of the vocationalization of education. Why they talks about that it should be rigorous, well planned and a systemic means there should be a seriousness in the organization of vocational courses, because the whole assumptions of this policy is also based upon the demand and supply of the skilled manpower to the industry, to the sector, production sector, and side by side also providing an employment opportunity to the uh, uh, citizen of youth of the country. So that's why it says that it must be very serious and a rigorous practice, because if there will be a mismatch in the demand and supply, so again it will be a disturbing factor. And if I will discuss how it will be mismatch, and if it is not a well planned, so also it will increase the unemployability in the country. uh, so for sake of example, the first case we discussed that if it is not well planned, systemic and rigorous, and we are producing less skilled man force than the required. So what will be the outcome? That the industry will also not get a sufficient manpower for their operation, and it will adversely affect their functioning. Side by side, people, the youth of the country will also be unemployed, because there is a requirement but there is not a supply. Demand is there, supply is not there. But suppose that if we have a more trend than the demand, suppose that in any financial year 100 peoples are required for the whole industry, and we have produced 150, 120. So what will be the situation? First 100 will be employed, but the other rest remaining one will not get an employment opportunity, which in turn will demotivate them from pursuing the vocational courses, and it will also increase the anxiety among the peoples. So that's why it strongly advocates that there must be a well planned, systemic and a rigorous implementation process in the vocationalization of education, and it must be based on the demand and supply basis. The next one that it talks that the NPE 1986 talks that the vocational education should be a distinct stream. Like that, we have a string science, social science, humanities, even the commerce at a +2 level, even at a graduation level, we have a different stream. So, vocational education should be developed as a different stream that will intend to prepare student for the identified occupations for the several activity. Okay, and these courses will be provided after the secondary stage, means the special vocational education stream that will create. But to make them interested, to bring their interest, this talks that there will be a different stream in the form of a polytechnic, in the form of a ITI, which is especially established for developing a skill and a training of a youth for certain occupations, certain vocation. Okay, so that will be after secondary education, but for developing their interest, some of the component of those things may be included after class 8, means the secondary one, 9 and 10 class. Within the 9 and 10, the some of the component may be brought to bring their interest, to develop their interest, so that when they will come out of the secondary education, and then they will go for the higher secondary education or a higher education, they will pursue the vocational course as per their need. Even this policy talks about that the health education, as I have discussed in the previous class also, because before including the health education in the vocational education program, has a 2-3 major objective. One objective is to diversify the vocational education. It should not be like that majority of the student will be in either of the vocational courses, like carpentry, like electrician, like other things, but there should be a diversification, because there is a need of a people in each sector. The second thing is that it was a time where the supporting staff in the medical sector, availability of the supporting staff in the medical sector was very less, and that was hampering the medical and health facilities in the country. And side by side, again, when you will see the situation of the 80th decades and the 90th, you will find that this was the time period when the so many diseases was coming out, and that was becoming as a threat to the human civilization. Like that, even the chicken pox, the threat was very big. Like that, the tuberculosis, which is known famously as TB, even that the polio, even now the polio, risk of a polio is very much reduced. Even the risk of a chicken pox is very much almost negligible. So this type of disease was there, and we were fighting with them. Even we were not having the adequate trained medical person to take care those things. So it was emphasized at that time. Even when we see that the agriculture sector, it was also underdeveloped. It was a revamping of the agriculture sector was going on, and at that time we have come up with the green revolution, we have come up with the white revolution. White revolution was for the milk, green was for the agriculture sector, and that even the silver revolution was the for the fisheries. So this type of revolutions were going on, and that was also promoted, and that's why we become self-dependent in terms of the agricultural products, and now we are exporting also. But that time this situation was not there, and we were importing the agricultural products from the different countries. Nowadays also we are importing some of the things. Okay, even the onions are also being imported. We export also, we export the onion also, we import the onion also. So like that the things are there. Even the tea leaves also we used to import also, export also. But India is the one of the major exporter of the tea leaf. So like that the situation was there, and that's why this document advocates that the vocationalization effort should be in that manner, it should be diversified, and there should be a stress on the agriculture sector, marketing sector, social service sector, and the health sector. And one of the another thing that is very much emphasized here is to promote them, means the promote this youth for the self employment and entrepreneurship. Why? Because the opportunity in the government sector or opportunity in the private sector also, private sector, that the factory or a company like kind of a thing, it was very limited, because at that time the government job was, even still it is very limited. And the private sector, when we talk that the company or the financial institutions were very less at that time. So obviously very less people will be employed there. So promoting for the entrepreneurship and the self-employment had two meanings. The first meaning was to create opportunity for their employment, means they should not look towards the government or other company factories for their employment. So that was that they will be able to set their own infrastructure for the employment or the earning money. The second thing was that if the entrepreneurship will happen, and if the so many small factories or the household kind of a workplace will develop, so it will also give the employment opportunity to others, means the neighboring peoples, those who are in the neighbors. Okay, for sake of example, you may think that as an entrepreneurship, I have given one example to you also, that my district, that is the Chatra of Jharkhand, it is a forest, means it is the district is the fully condensed by the forest, and in those forests there is a sal tree. So the tribals and the peoples residing nearby the forest, they used to depend on the forest product like a sal leaf for making plates and all those things. So some of the people, if they are thinking of entrepreneurship and they have established a small unit with a machine to mold the plates or a cup made with the sal leaf. So it will give not only earning opportunity to the person, but also it will give the earning opportunity to the other people. Like that, some of the people will be employed to make the plates, some of the people will be employed to bring the leaf, some of the people will be employed in the marketing, like that. So that was the reason for promoting them for entrepreneurship and the self development. Okay. Then we come to the next point, that it talks about that there should be a non-formal, flexible and need-based vocational program. As now I was talking also, that it should be a need based, demand and supply based. And here they used to use a term like the vocational program will also made available to neoliterates. Neoliterates here the means that it will be made available to the person those who have started learning now. Suppose that there is a age group of children to come to the school, it is a 5 years something. So the person who have completed suppose that a 10 year or a 12 year or a 20 year but never went to the school, that was the situation that time. Nowadays we claim that we have a universal enrollment, universal retention and a zero dropout. We used to claim because of the several educational interventions like SSA, Ramsa and other things we used to claim. But that time it was not a situation, and those youth also needs to get an employment opportunity, and that's why they this policy says that the vocational program and the vocational institution must be established for the new literates, even those who are dropouts, okay, or those who are engaged in any work like that, the unskilled hai. Nowadays also you know that the central government has launched a skill development program like that. You must have seen that the Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay skill development program. So these programs are based on the development of a skill. So suppose that the person is unskilled, so that skill will be development, so that they will get a better employment opportunity. School dropouts, that neoliterates, like that. Even they talks that the tertiary level course for the youth who graduated from the higher secondary education should also be made available. Tertiary, actually when we talk about the education system, so the classes from 1 to 8 we used to call it a primary, and you must have heard that lower primary, upper primary, and we combine the both, then we call it as a elementary, but it is a primary in nature. Lower primary or upper primary, it is a primary. Then we used to term 9 to 12 as a secondary, है ना. Within the secondary we have also lower secondary and higher secondary. For the lower secondary we used to call simply as a secondary, and then the 11 and 12 is a higher secondary. So it is a secondary, then primary, secondary, then the tertiary. Tertiary is the graduation. Okay, tertiary course is the 3 level of a courses we have, hierarchy of a courses in the education system: primary, secondary, tertiary. Okay. This program says that there should be vocational courses for the secondary level youth also who have graduated. Okay, so for them it should be also there. And when we talk about the targets, that the target is fixed by this policy. This policy says that vocational courses cover 10% of the higher secondary education student by 1990, means just after the 4 years. At least 10 years of a secondary education student will be enrolled in the vocational courses, and 25% by the 1995. So that target they had, and they were able to achieve in some of the cases, but it was not very much fruitful. So then one of the very important part here is the delinking degree from job. But before discussing the delinking degree from the job, we will like to take some of the question, because we have joined the class a little bit late and I was talking. So we will have a small question answer session. Yes, Santoshji, are you here? Do you have any question?
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. I have no question, sir. Yes, sir. I have no question, sir.
You have
No,
one
sir.
no
I have no
question.
question,
मतलब
sir.
क्या होता है?
No, sir. I have no question, sir.
ओह, अच्छा अच्छा. Okay. Anybody else? Damodar?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
अच्छा. Okay, so I am proceeding towards the next thing, and if you have a question, you can chat,
Okay.
send in the chat box. Okay. So there is a very important concept that is discussed in the National Policy of Education 1986. It is the delinking degree from the job. Okay. So anybody who have idea that have you heard this term delinking degree from the job? Okay, let me explain. See, whenever the new concept or a new term is used in any policy, to understand that term or policy perspective, we must see the situation at that time, because the situation is the main thing that decides that what kind of a policy will be there. So that time the situation was that there was a less availability of educational institutes per capita. Less institution was there, starting from the school education up to the higher education, even for the vocational education also there was a less. Then what was that? So it is less available, means all the person was not getting opportunity. It was also that at that time the industrialization was happening, so there was a more demand. Demand was more, supply was less. That's why when you will talk to the some of the older person, I have talked to them, some of they say that when they were about to complete the polytechnic or ITI or engineering, so before the completion they had a government job, they have been appointed by the government, because the even the company, because the demand was more and supply was less. But anyhow, in order to develop the industrialization and the economic of the country, we must supply at least some of the human resources. So what but suppose that you want to get a job in any industry or in any factory or a company or anywhere, so there will be some basic requirement of a course, like that when you want to become a teacher, so the basic requirement is that you must be trained and a B.Ed or D.L.Ed or whatever it is, as per the requirement you must be trained. Then the second requirement is that you must be TET or CTET or state TET, means the teacher eligibility test, you must be qualified. Then again requirement will be like that you must pass the written and the interview of the selection committee. So these are the requirement. So something is the formalities, like test and all those things are a formality, but the teacher training degree is the degree which is required to enter in the teaching profession at a school level. Or if you are want to become in the higher education, then the NET qualification and a PhD that is going from the next year. So what is the thing that there was no sufficient person, but they are required. So this policy talks that yes, it is good that the person must have a degree in the relevant field, but there are some person who are not having any degree, but they are wonderful, they are very efficient, effective, dedicated also for particular profession. For example, nowadays the B.Ed is the required qualification, but earlier the availability of the B.Ed course was also very limited, and the teachers with the B.Ed course were also very limited, and you will find that majority of the retired teacher are not with the B.Ed degree, and even that the TET examination is the affair of nowadays. But they were very effective and efficient teacher and a dedicated teacher also. So that's why this policy says that if the person have a required skill, dedication and competency for a particular job, then that person may be employed in that job without having any formal degree. And that's why it says delinking will be applied in a service for which university degree need not be necessary qualification. Its implementation will lead to a refashioning of a job specific courses and afford greater justice to those candidates who, despite being equipped for a given job, are unable to get because an unnecessary preference for graduate candidates. Like that, we will find that so many teachers got employment without having a teaching degree, because even at that time, if we have started searching for a B.Ed degree, we could not able to achieve at that position. So that is the concept of a delinking degree from the job that this policy talks about. Then the next emphasis of this policy is inclusion of work experiences in the school education. Work experience. I think you must have heard of that SUPW. Socially useful productive work. That was also brought in the curriculum, and I have discussed a lot about this, that major objective was not to develop a fine skill to enter in the profession, but rather than to provide some of the skill and to develop their interest and motivate, like kind of a thing was the major objective. Then the last one was that the investment in the research. When you will see the national policy of education, you will find that there is a different section. Whatever I am telling now, that investment and delinking job and that work experience and this vocationalization, secondary education. So it is available as a different section in the document. And the document also emphasized that there should be appropriate sufficient investment and research in the area of vocationalization. And that's why the one of the vocational training institute, Pandit Sundarlal Sarma Institute of Vocational Education, was established in Bhopal. It was established in the before the 60, and when the NCERT was established, so it has been brought out. Earlier it was existing independently, so it was brought out under the NCERT, and then they have been strengthened by this policy. They have prepared, they have did a research, lot of thing is they are doing. For the more detail, you can visit their website also, that is the website of Pandit Sundarlal Sarma Institute of Vocational Education and Training. So that you can also see. So it also recognizes that there should be appropriate investment and research in this area. Okay, so I think by this we have come to the end of the discussion about the vocationalization. In the next one class, that tomorrow, we will see about the some of the thing that is expressed in the what to say, that program of action, that we will see, and by that we will finish this topic. Okay. So one question I think I have got. Another one, those who are having the question or a doubt, they may put in the chat box. Sonali is asking that job करने के लिए डिग्री को इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं दिया जाएगा, जैसे कि कुछ जॉब के लिए कुछ डिग्री का see here I think your question is from the delinking degree from the job. It is not like that the degree will not be given importance. ठीक है, इसका थोड़ा different meaning है. I think I was not able to explain, that's why you have not got. The first thing was that it is not like that the degree is not important. ठीक है, degrees always have some importance, but it is also like that without the degree you cannot do anything. It is also not like that the Dhirubhai Ambani, who he don't had a MBA degree, but led a successful business and become a business tycoon. Like that, when we talk about the Lijjat Papad, she is illiterate, the group of women, but she has established a brand, Lijjat Papad. So it is not like that, but this policy particularly, it is not saying that a degree is not important, but it was a context, it was a situation, because at that time people was not available, demand was more, supply was less. So they have thought, why not we should give a chance to those people who are capable, who have a capacity but don't have a degree. Okay, so they have been given a chance. So that was the meaning. Another meaning was that, which is still applicable, that for some of the courses, there is a, sorry, not a some of the courses, for some of the vocation, there is no formal kind of a course available. So in that, the person without the degree will be admitted. Even nowadays it is also done. When you will see the advertisement for the assistant professor, you will find that there is a column written there. One column will be that the NET or a PhD is mandatory. NET or PhD, not and or. But the second line will be there, NET is not mandatory for those subjects in which NET are not being conducted. Means the NET is not available for that. Okay, so like that the main logic they had, because it was possible difficult to get those kind of people because of the unavailability, limited availability of the educational institutes and that trained person, like that.
जी सर, थैंक यू सर.
Anything else?
जी सर, थैंक यू सर.
Okay.
Hello.
Anybody?
Sir, is it still applied
yes,
in the
please.
education system? Like you said that in the any advertisement of assistant professor, there is some criteria they have mentioned, like PhD student or you have qualified NET, they can only apply for the post. PhD student or you have qualified NET, they can only apply for the post.
See, when you will see the advertisement for the assistant professor, two criteria is there. Either you have basic criteria, I am telling. Apart from that, there are something else also, but basic means the required one. First one is that you must have a master degree in that subject. Suppose that I am applying for the mathematics, so I must have a master degree. So this is the compulsory. Second one is that either I must qualified PhD or I have a either I have must qualified a NET or I must have completed PhD. Either or, है ना? Either NET or PhD. Both are not required. Either NET or PhD. ठीक है. But some of the courses are there, like a music, in which NET is not conducted. Dance, in where the music NET is not conducted. But I have a master degree in the music, classical music, for sake of example, classical music. I have a master degree. But till now I have not completed my PhD. But still I am eligible to apply because the criteria is either NET or PhD. But in the music, NET is not conducted. PhD I have not completed, but I am eligible because NET is not conducted. Either है ना, both नहीं है, either or. Okay, so that is the situation. Even the PhD, within the PhD there are certain criteria, वो बहुत अलग complicated है, उसमें मत जाइए. ठीक है. They have come up with a rule, 14 rule, 18 rule है, बहुत सारा, हर एक 6 month में they are bringing the rule, फिर they are having a mechanism for a point, and these are the things. So I am not going in that. Okay. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay. So I think we should stop this class here.
Thank you, sir.
Shall we stop? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for being with me in this session. Have a nice day.